Hello, boys and girls. Lord Hawkeye here again. I apologize for my absence the past week. I got yet another throat infection that just wrecked my voice. It's still not perfect now, so if I suddenly break out into a violent coughing fit, don't worry, I'm not dying. I'm just trying to fight this off. Anyways, before I get to the questions today, I wanted to get on to today's topic. Now, a common argument that statists often hit me with these days is they will point to an example of some private company or something who did something wrong, did something immoral, or sometimes even did something illegal. And they will say, "Ha, see, free markets can't be trusted, that's why we need the government." Well, here's the way I see it. Let's say you have a store and you're concerned about thefts, about vandalism, things like that that's been going around, and you don't want it to hit your store. So you hire a security guard, and this security guard insists he be the only one you hire. He's all you need, nobody else, just him. Okay, so he wants to take on all the responsibility himself. He absolutely insists you do not hire anybody else. So, all right. So he goes off to work, and as the weeks go by, you find out that not only does this security guard have a consistent habit of sleeping on the job and letting people steal and get away with it, you find out that the big-time thieves, the real good ones, are actually paying him to look the other way while they continue to rob and damage your store. Now, when you discover this, do you respond by saying, well, obviously he doesn't have enough money and authority to do his job right, so I'm going to give you a raise and a promotion. Then that should fix things up nicely. I really would hope nobody out there is that gullible. If so, I'd like to sign up to be your security guard, please. Yeah. Anyway, but essentially, this is the logic people have. It's that the thing people don't understand is, I make no claims that there exists any kind of system that's going to prevent someone from doing something stupid, dishonest, immoral, unethical, or even outright illegal. Nobody's claiming that. I have never claimed that, ever. Seriously, look through all my videos as closely as you want to. You will not find any such claims. The thing is, if a private company does do something immoral, unethical, or illegal and gets away with it, that's not the free market's fault. Because think about it. Who was it who gave themselves a monopoly on the police and the courts? Who was it? Any guesses? Any guesses? Can anyone want to pipe in on that one? Yeah. So there you go. Who was it who took on the job of punishing people when they do things like that? The government did. So if it doesn't get done, whose fault is it? It's just really that simple now, isn't it? So basically you're arguing that every time the government fails to do the job they signed up to do, that we need to do more regulation, which means more money and more power for them. So basically, you're promoting the security guard who slept on the job and let someone rob your store. And you can't seem to understand why the thefts keep happening. Gee, I don't know. And the really funny thing is, like all statist arguments, they never accept it the other way. When you try to say, oh yeah, well what about this government organization who did this bad thing? They say, oh well that's just a few bad apples. You can't judge the whole system based on that. Yeah, I get that all the time, especially when I talk about people who got let down by healthcare, whatever. Just a few bad apples, just a few bad apples, just a few bad apples. Well, the thing is, I understand a few bad apples always happens no matter what the occupation is. What I care about is how it's dealt with, and the government is also responsible for dealing with said bad apples. So, like when policemen abuse their power, things like that. When I point to this and question statist loving devotion to government, they say, oh, it's just a few bad apples. You can't judge the whole force based on that. Well, I don't care. I don't care about the fact that it happened. What I care about is what did the police department do in response to this to deal with it? And all too often, they let them get away with it. It's the same case in healthcare, in abuses of power in healthcare, in police, courts, and whatever. Very often people abuse their power, and very seldomly do they face any ill consequences. And usually when they do, it's only because public pressure got them to do it. So, yeah, it's a bit bit of a slanted opinion there, I'd say, on their part. So that's the lesson of the day. Anyways, let's get on to the questions then, shall we? I'm not sure if this is an okay question, says Zuterotus. I think I got that right. Anyways, in media like video games, movies, TV, two of the main things that get attention is sexual content and violent content. Well, my question is sexual content versus violent content in media. I'd argue definitely sex first, then we get to the violence. Yeah, I don't like it when they do it the other way. That's just nah. But anyway, seriously, on the topic of sexual and violent content in media, I think Penn Jillette once said it best. He talked about there's this painting that was done by some French painter. I can't remember his name. It's a painting of shows a pipe, a smoking pipe, and it's just a simple pipe there. And below it, it says "Ceci n'est pas une pipe," which is French for "This is not a pipe." And this probably confuses people. They say, "Well, what are you talking about? That is a pipe. You can see it right there." No. It's a bunch of paint made to look like a pipe. And just like sex in the media. No, it's not sex. It's a bunch of actors pretending to have sex. Violence? No, it's a bunch of actors pretending to be fighting. And that makes all the difference. It's not real. Therefore, there's no moral argument against. There's no real moral argument against it. It inspires kids. If kids are violent, it's because they were inspired to by real life events, not by television. So, parents who try to claim that, you might want to look into what their family life is at home. You might find a much more definite answer. Just an idea. Anyways, PG Fistlord says, another question. Do you think that abolishing the state is possible in the nuclear age? Well, I think it's not only possible, I think it's all the more necessary in the nuclear age. When we have the power to decimate an entire area with nuclear bombs, I really don't feel safe. I really don't feel safe being lorded over by one person with all the nukes, especially not when it's people who still believe in talking snakes. Yeah, I'm sorry to all the people who find the myths of church and state to be comforting. I'm sorry, but the world has become too small, and we have just way too much power to continue believing in nonsense like this. So, it's just, and the thing is, it's not just the nuclear age; it's also the information age, and I think it's all the more possible because it's the information age. The reason why statism has lasted as long as it did, one of the big secrets to its success was the fact that it could keep information from people, that it was able to hoard information and only let people know what they wanted them to know. Nowadays, that information is so freely available and the state can't stop it, that makes all the difference in the world. Like videotaping police you've seen these days. You've seen police who got caught outright lying by videotape, and just think about it. So what does that mean? How many times have cops lied in the past and gotten away with it because we didn't have any way to record them and prove that they were lying? So it's just something to think about there. Next one, let's see. Savior of Logic asks, what would you want done to various groups who have exploited society, assuming a great revolution? Well, I don't think the end of the state will come by some great revolution, but let's say it did. And this is people like the presidents, the dictators, the generals, the soldiers, the corporations, the CIA, the Catholic Church, followers of bin Laden, and so on and so forth. Well, I think in a stateless society, you wouldn't need to actually punish them. I think the stateless society itself would punish them enough as it was, because these are people who only know violence. They don't know anything past that, and sorry about that. Anyways, these people only know violence. They would not fit in a peaceful society like that. So these people would pretty much find themselves as outcasts, and if anything, to have to sit idly by and watch some society succeed where they only claimed they could make it succeed, to actually have to look reality in the face and realize They were wrong. They were completely wrong all this time. They're the bad guys. They're the ones who are dragging society down. To have that in there, have that shoved in their face on a daily basis, I think that would be plenty of suitable punishment for them. We don't need to do anything else. So anyway, Emma 007ification. I think I got that right. This is probably obvious, but what's your perspective on gays? I just want to hear it from you. I think homosexuality is perfectly fine. There is no moral argument against it as long as all parties involved are complicit. So I think the government's anti-gay laws are absolutely ridiculous and just a crude reminder that there is no separation of church and state. Church and state have been inseparable pals since day one, and that's never changed. I mean, come on, we're still paying sin taxes. Does that not tell you anything? Anyways, let's see here. One last one. Would you push a fat man into a trolley to stop it from hitting 5 people? Only if I had a video camera handy in order to capture the event. Yeah, that should do it. Anyways, that's my talk for the day. Until next time, be aware and be wise.